Hello, my name is Sarah, and I have temporal lobe epilepsy. I am currently 31 years old. I just finally got my first EEG. They provoked a massive seizure. I am very tired right now. I feel like I have been hit by a bus. I was misdiagnosed with schizoaffective bipolar, borderline personality disorder, hypochondria, OCD, ADHD, panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, insomnia, damn near anything under the sun that was a lazy, make Sarah look crazy diagnosis. I still am fighting for a diagnosis. The doctor I went to tried to say it was all about my migraines. He dismissed the déjà vu, the jamais vu, the reality distortions, the obvious epileptic triggers that I have, such as flashing lights, caffeine, stress, sleep deprivation, etc. They dismissed the fact that I only responded to an anticonvulsant called lamictal and not any other mood stabilizer. But somehow, someone along the way, whether it be my primary care, who referred me to that terrible neurologist, or the clinic themselves who have other neurologists and nurses working there, somebody had pre-ordered that EEG before I even came in. They do not do that for people with migraines. That's only if they suspect epilepsy. Someone suspected it. We have no idea who. We may never know. But the fact of the matter is that we had the EEG. The only issue is that 30 to 50% of people with TLE, which is temporal lobe epilepsy, end up having any results on the EEG. Mine was a massive seizure. It is a very high probability that they will see something. But if that means the neurologist will actually look at it and not say it's psychogenic, meaning just margin of error or something like that, unknown, that's a different story. But the fact of the matter is that we have the EEG, we have all of my symptoms, we have my response to lamictal, we have my triggers, we have the whole timeline, we have everything. I've suffered with this for 31 years. Unrelenting, constant seizures. This is called status epilepticus. I shouldn't be alive. Over 50 unaliving attempts. And I will teach you something. The insula, the part of the brain that handles love, has the power to switch off the temporal lobe's electrical misfiring. I'm alive because of my cat. I'm alive because of my previous pets before her. My love for them is the reason I'm not dead right now. There has been damage. My pituitary gland is enlarged from prolonged seizures. We have no idea if there is damage to my temporal lobe because the MRI I did only caught the pituitary gland. It did not catch anything else, and it will not because they were not looking at the temporal lobe. So when, inevitably, that neurologist, which, by the way, his name is Dr. Assaad, A-S-A-A-D. He works for Lone Star Neurology in Dallas, Texas. When he gets those results, he's going to try to spin it. I will take those results to my insurance company, which I want to inform you about, that you can do this with quite a few. If you have United Healthcare, you can. Take your results to their second opinion program. They want to save money. They want to get the correct diagnosis for you. And me too. So they will reach out to a provider who will actually look at the EEG and interpret it correctly and not lie through their teeth like Dr. Assad will likely do. I am blessed that I am on Lamictal because they are using it like a mood stabilizer. Apparently, that's what they call it. It's not a very powerful one for people with schizoaffective bipolar, but it's extremely powerful for me, and it's not at the right dose. I need to be up to 600 with how severe my condition is. I'm only at 225 right now. I will have to tell them that I'm still having mania, which is not what it is. It's called elevation, and it's a post-ictal state. Ictal meaning seizure. So pre-ictal is before the seizure, ictal is during, and then post-ictal is after the seizure. So ictal is like ICTAL. So post-ictal, basically I can have a range of symptoms. They're large. There's a ton of them. But the defining feature of temporal lobe epilepsy that separates it from every last diagnosis on earth is déjà vu, of all things. And also jamais vu. Jamais vu is the opposite of déjà vu. It's where nothing seems familiar. But déjà vu is where everything seems familiar. But we're not talking what a typical person would experience. We're talking an extreme level. So extreme that it feels more familiar than when things are normal. When I'm not experiencing that symptom. I'm always experiencing something because I'm in status epilepticus for 30 years right now, or 31. So, yeah, the defining features are déjà vu and jamais vu. Where was I going with this? I'm extremely shaken up. The EEG, they had triggered a seizure by doing hyperventilation, which was horrible. My whole body went numb. I dissociated. I watched myself from the outside. My brain started flashing every last traumatic memory at me, convincing me that I was the one doing it because I was trying to provoke a more severe seizure. It's very convincing. You can get delusional with this disorder. Very, very delusional. That's where the schizo part came from. You can see things that aren't there because the temporal lobe handles that. And we suspect I have occipital too, which means vision. My eyes. I definitely had it spread there during the provoked seizure during the EEG. It was brutal. When they put the flashing lights above my eyes, I was fully convinced they somehow figured out how to, like, those electrodes on my brain that were, like, monitoring my electrical activity of my brain. I was convinced they somehow figured out how to, like, generate the lights from inside of my brain. I thought it was coming from my brain. And then I started seeing fractals. Like, if you've ever tried magic mushrooms, the fractals that you see, and if you haven't, the kaleidoscope. That's what I saw. And it was unbelievably jarring. I had a massive wave of panic. That's my amygdala that was activating and seizing like crazy, dude. Then it spread to my eyes, my occipital lobe, and then sorry. Colors are getting weird again. Okay, deep breaths. It was very traumatizing. I've never had that happen to me because I just instinctively avoided flashing lights. They made my head hurt so bad, and I just avoided them. After that, I started shaking. I almost went into full grand mal. I was about to have a grand mal seizure, and the tech noticed, and she said, take a deep breath. Look, that would not work for any other kind of epilepsy. But the temporal lobe, that's very connected to the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve controls fight or flight, basically. The amygdala as well. They're all kind of connected in there. So a deep breath actually does calm a seizure. That's pretty crazy. I've been doing that for a long time, like 8 years since I've been meditating hard, all the time. Tons of deep breaths. That was really all that would work. That and loving on my cat. Those were most powerful. Music, obsessively writing, playing piano, all kinds of things. That's called hypergraphia. The obsessive need to write, the obsessive need to document, and also the obsessive need to create music. It's really a cool kind of presentation if you look at it from the outside and don't have to go through it. And as someone who's very capable of out-of-body experiences, I've done that all my life, who's super depersonalized, super dissociated, I can look in and see that, yeah, it's really fascinating to study my condition. I find it one of the most interesting conditions I've ever come across because I was trying to figure out what was going on with me. People like me with TLE, we can remain conscious during seizures. We can continue to function if we figured it out, like I did. Because people like me, if we don't figure it out, we end up dead. Because this disorder has insane rates of unaliving. It's extremely impulsive because it can spread into the motor part of the brain, and then you act on it. You can become dangerous too. I'll be honest with you. It's not in your control. Not a violent person. I am not. Abusive, none of that. None of it was planned. But I'll be honest with you, yes. My seizures, like the seizures you're probably thinking of, they can be convulsive. They just don't look like what you would think. But epilepsy is epilepsy, no matter where it occurs in the brain. It's misfiring electrical activity. Just because it usually stays in my temporal lobe that handles perception, memory, vision, the way you process what you see. So, like, colors are super saturated for me right now, for example. Emotions, relationships, even love. That means, that doesn't mean that it's not epilepsy. Just because I'm not on the floor convulsing doesn't mean I don't have epilepsy. I do. I've always had it. I'm not mentally ill. Except for one thing. I have PTSD, of course, but who doesn't these days? It's crazy. This world's wild. I just wanted to share my story for other people who might be suffering. The misdiagnosis rates are insane for this condition, especially women. They just call us hysterical. Crazy woman syndrome, You know what I'm talking about, probably. So, if this sounds like you, good luck finding a doctor that's going to listen, but do remember, your insurance company does not want to pay out for a misdiagnosis, and they might have a helpline like United if you have a different insurance company. If you have United, use it. Try to get the diagnosis first. If it fails, use their helpline. It's for second opinions. It's to try to get you treated, to keep you out of the ER, to keep you out of misdiagnosis and all the medications that come with it. They have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on doctors profiting off of my insurance and off of my suffering. Now I join hands with United, who is usually not a good company, but we share one interest in common, and that's all I care about. They want to stop spending money on bullshit diagnoses, and I want to stop spending my time and suffering on bullshit diagnoses. That's it. So there's a little loophole to being able to get a diagnosis. Go to your insurance. They do not want to pay out. They want you to get the correct condition. I promise. I hope this helps someone. Please share this video. Like it, comment, all of it. Not because I care about the fame. I don't at all. I'm a Buddhist. I don't give a crap about ego. I care about other people not having to go through what I have been through. No one ever on earth, except for maybe a few people, deserve what I've been through. I deserve to be heard. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I don't deserve to be heard and helped. Just because I have what looks like a mental condition does not mean I actually have it. Trust your gut. Don't ever, ever let anyone tell you differently. Because you have one body. You better take care of it. I love you all so much. Because that's all that's keeping me alive at this point. All you need is love. Thank you for listening.